All right, welcome back. I guess the first thing I should do when I take a break and leave is ought to plug in the IFB, and we were just chit-chatting up here. But we have a delegation from the state here, and I'm going to turn to Tanner McGee, Speaker Pro Temp, right here from Houma. And what a good crew, Tanner.
Yeah, man, we're very fortunate, Martin, to have everybody here. The support we've seen across the state has been really unbelievable from our fellow legislators and how much they've reached out and how much they've helped.
All right, so introduce our panel to the audience, because, and as usual, Z is studying.
Right.
Is he always in that computer?
Yes.
I might ought to ask his wife out there in the audience if he's always studying, right? So go ahead, we'll introduce everybody.
So to my right is Speaker Clay Shake-Snyder from Livingston area and St. James and all that surrounding river parishes. Clay's done a lot from hurricane from his own district, so he knows a lot what's going on. He organizes all of the House's relief efforts. He calls every member, what you got, what can you do, meet here, and then he starts redistributing. So a lot of the early stuff that happened behind the scenes was done because of Clay and his leadership in the House. The part that people maybe in the state don't see when they're reading the newspaper and learning, and there's a hot issue, they don't get to see the organizational side of it. Right. So Clay was really big. I think I'm really proud of how fast we were on the House side of getting services here and across the area. I mean, we beat pretty much everybody. We beat the governor's response, we beat everybody's response. Now our resources are way more limited because it's just the House, small stuff, and that's because of Clay. We know the nerd next to me with his iPad is Jerome Zarang.
I'm doing some dialogue for him. So
yes. On the other side of Z is Stuart Bishop, representative from Lafayette. He is the chairman of Ways and Means. His wife is from Houma. I always joke that he's not yet a Homo sapien, but we're working on it. He was huge in getting resources. Crispy chicken came down, crispy crunchy chicken, water. He's been calling me probably 5 times a day with stuff he's found in Lafayette to get down here with his time, with his resources. And on the other side of him is Representative Troy Romero, who's from Jennings. They just went through Hurricane Laura. He's been a crutch for a lot of us on what it's like to go through such a huge thing. He showed it today with him and his wife Emily, and they brought from some schools over there, they brought a shed of stuff. I mean, just all the donations they could round up, and they just drove it in. He's doing fuel runs. There's all kind of stuff that's going on, and he's also prepping us for the long haul. And telling us
I tell you what, Lafayette and Lake Charles area, they've really reciprocated. We went and helped them, and they come back in droves, and I've seen a lot of people from that area, so thank you.
Sir.
But Clay, let me turn to you, Mr. Speaker, if we could. What's the plan today? Y'all going tour, or what are you going to do today?
So, once we started getting materials and help out to all our legislators and our local officials out this way, it's what we've done in the past as far as House members since I've been there since 2012 is try to get out and let's see what people need. Let's see where their needs are. As you move through this, and y'all know you've been through these storms before, things change. In the beginning, you need water, you need food supplies. Now we're getting into a cleanup stage. Do we need cleanup material? Do we need hygiene materials? What do we need? Do we need help contacting FEMA and having them come in and help with that? So that's what we're doing. We're traveling, going look at all the affected areas, and I think coming here and seeing what we have here and the devastation here, this is by far one of the hardest affected areas that I've been to so far. I represent Ascension, Livingston, St. James, and St. John parishes, and I can tell you St. John by far is the hardest one hit in my area, and it's in bad shape. A lot more water damage than just the wind, but it's huge all the way across. So right now we're trying to make this round and make sure that we can help y'all and help these members of the House who have. I can tell you when Laurel hit and we had to get down there, everybody here stepped up. And even back in 2016 when we wasn't in leadership as much, but we all worked together to help with the 2016 flood, which was in my area. So I can tell you the response has been good, and we want to keep it that way and keep people moving forward.
And Jerome, let me turn to you. Not only we didn't have the big surge. Well, we had it from the backside, which we're learning from. They're going to do the gates with the hydraulics and all that. That's a learning process. But people are forgetting we had 21 inches of rain with this storm.
Right.
And this was Betsy on steroids. The winds were stronger than Katrina. So this was a monster that we're dealing with.
Well, it was, and in terms of impact or effect, it was somewhat similar to Katrina, in so much as, again, it wasn't a storm surge, and we were getting the north wind and the west wind, which were the water within the system, the rainfall you referred to, and Lake Boudreaux, and the water within the system was actually pushing against the gates. I remember in Katrina, I know you had Tony and Gordy on a little previously. We were, after Katrina hit and made landfall, we were jumping in trucks. This was when I was at the Levee District, going open gates because the water was inside the system piling up, so we had to open the gates. Similarly, this system is pretty much, in terms of the impact, the same. It was mostly wind, but it was much greater in terms of influence and the effects of it than what Katrina was.
And maybe I'll get Jay to pull up that shot of inside the Bubba Dove floodgate. We'll get that up in a second, but it was shocking. You know, we've been researching this stuff for years. You on the ground floor, some of that stuff too. We're holding all this water back, and on the inside, we got Lake Boudreaux and Lake Robinson emptying. Who'd have thought we'd get something like that?
Oh, it was amazing.
It's fluid, though. It's
Yeah.
constant engineering in it.
It is, and the design, you design obviously for the storm surge. What happened in the picture you see there was a -3 differential on the outside of the water, and on the outside of the system, and there was a +8 or +9 on the inside. So there's approximately a 13-foot differential in height of the water, and that's what happened, the effect and the impacts of the storm surge on Bubba Dove in the system. But it was pretty substantial. But we learn. From every system we learn, and we're going to improve, and we're going to be better prepared for the next event.
All right, let's hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We've got a great panel up here. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to do an extended series with them. So we'll take a break. Won't keep them too long because they got to go tour. So, but we'll be right back. Don't go away.